Alright, what's up everybody? I'm Albie13. How much did I pay for my 2006 Nissan 350Z Touring? I believe this is a touring model above the Enthusiast. There's some differences in the years of stuff. It's not the Grand Touring because it doesn't have the Brembo brakes, but we see that it has the other stuff and the seat heaters that were there originally. So, got this car, and what did I pay for it? So it was a desert car, and I basically have done a lot of cleaning, interior, exterior, and engine bay to get a lot of this dust and dirt and sand off of it. A lot of sun damage, as you can see, right? So this car was advertised for $8,900. And originally, it was listed for, I don't know if it was 10 something or possibly 11.9. So I was like, I told myself, I'm looking at the listings, ain't no one gonna pay $12,000 for this ride, but it's cool and has potential. So I picked up this car. I went to go check it out. Well, let me just tell you the brief story. He was the guy who didn't want to sell it, as is when you love a car and you don't want to get rid of it, right? Guy didn't want to sell it, so he was very soft when I spoke to him, and I could tell. I was a serious buyer, and I showed that to him. And I started asking buying questions. And I said, hey, can I call you? And he's like, I prefer to keep it on the app for historical record, and I guess maybe he was afraid of scammers and stuff talking on the phone or whatever. So he was a younger guy. Fine, whatever. I was trying to make him comfortable, and I said okay. So then I unloaded like 5 or 6 questions that I had that I was going to mention briefly and casually on the phone, right? Just a bunch of questions about the car you're going to ask, especially with the way that there's some modification and stuff. You might ask, what's the suspension like? Why is it so lower? It's lowered. So what does it have, right? That's a normal question. Those kinds of things. I won't bore you. Finally, the reveal. What did I pay for the car after negotiation? Guy, I kind of asked gently. I said, from $8,900, what can we do with the price? And this is after I inspected the car front to back, in the engine bay, and underneath all 4 sides of the car. So, and I did a test drive. So the seriousness was all that. And then I showed him I was serious. I drove out there. It's pretty far out there. And I threw some water on the car. So it's got a little water, and it's not perfect, but it's going in the shop. I believe very soon. The parts are coming tomorrow. Anyway, focusing on the car. I think it's a great platform, and I like the color. It's a black car, and I was kind of looking for that. So, with that said, I asked the guy about, okay, like I want to buy the car. What's the deal? And what can you do? What can we work? And finally, when we looked at all the issues and how it had been sitting, and he told me something about the battery terminal and stuff, and I was like, it needs a lot of maintenance, whatever, right? And he told me $6,500, and I was thinking that price is fair, but I was thinking that I know I'm going to have to spend money on this car. So I want to get it as cheap as possible, and the truth is I do have to spend money on it, and I will reveal that to you in a second. But basically, I said $6,000. Can you do $6,000? He said, why don't we meet in the middle? $6,250. $6,250 is what I paid for the car. And so now you know. And that's the reveal. Now, what does the car need? So tomorrow I think I'm going to do the breakdown video. Hopefully the parts arrive so I can show you the parts. and tell you what the car needs. But I'm going to cut a long story short to reveal to you what the car needs immediately. The car is a runner and a driver and everything, but you can't really drive this car like it's meant to. You can't drive this in a performance manner. You can't really get on it. You shouldn't, because you need to protect the engine. What's wrong with the car? Oil pressure is low. So you can drive it and it has oil pressure. According to my mechanic, it's right at the level of where it needs to be fixed. So it's fine, but it's not right. So I'm going to get into that. That was more than I was going to speak on it, but it just happened to be. And so the problem is that what you have to do when you get a car like this, you're going to have to spend, and basically, I think the parts are $300 and the labor is $1,600. It's a $2,000 job that needs to be done to do the oil fixing. So that's how we got into it. So if we think about $6,000 basically for the car and $2,000 for repairs, where are we? $7,000, $8,000. The car is an $8,000 car, and that still leaves some stuff to be done. For example, the hood with the clear coat and the roof and stuff like that. So car's not perfect, but you're getting into a car that you can start to spend money on at your pace. And so I actually thought about this, and I thought, yeah, I'm gonna get the car and then I'll let it sit so I can save some money for the budget. But now that I took the car in and addressed the most important things, not the way I was gonna do it, but this is the way the mechanic kind of wanted to do it, so to speak. So then now I'm like saying, okay, you checked out the car, you know what's wrong. I ordered the parts for you because he told me that the Nissan said it was discontinued, the part, which is whatever. It is whatever it is. There's plenty of parts. I actually ordered the part from Z1 Motorsports, no, not a sponsor. And so that's the deal. These parts are easily available. There's many of these cars, and they have a lot of aftermarket. So I still think it's a great car and a great buy. It's not for everyone to get into a car that needs stuff, but for me, it's going to work out great. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed that video. Make sure you like or dislike, subscribe if you're not subscribed to me, so you can get more updates. And I'm out of here. Throw a comment if you like.